You see, we've been brought up, almost hypnotized, into believing that life is a kind of trip. From the moment we're born, the world whispers into our ears, hurry along now, there's somewhere you need to be. As children, we're told, wait until you get into school. Then it's just wait until you finish school. Then your life truly begins. And after that, wait until you get a career. Then you'll be somebody. Once you've got the job, it's wait until you get married, have children, retire. And finally, just before you exhale your last breath, you realize the punchline. You were always preparing for life, but never actually living it. This is the grand hoax, the trick of the culture. It convinces us to treat life like a pilgrimage, a journey with a destination at the end. But life is not a journey. It's not a business deal to be completed, nor a finish line to be crossed. It is more like music. You don't listen to a symphony just so you can hear the final chord. You listen to it for the unfolding, the dance of each note with the next. If the meaning of music were only at the end, then surely the best composers would write nothing but finales. But that would be absurd. The beauty is in the play, not the destination. And so it is with life. The point was never to get somewhere. The point was to be here, fully, richly, completely. But our education, our culture, has conditioned us to step on the gas pedal of existence, eyes fixed on some horizon that never arrives. We miss the scenery, we miss the laughter, we miss the very taste of being alive. The tragedy of this illusion, you see, is that we mistake the map for the territory. We live by calendars, clocks, goals, deadlines, and while these are useful, we forget that they are only symbols. Time, as we experience it, is a marvelous invention, but it is not reality itself. Reality is only ever now, this moment, always. Yet we act as though the present is merely a stepping stone, a means to some future payoff. It's rather like dancing. When you dance, you don't aim to arrive at one particular spot on the floor. The purpose of dancing is the dance itself, every twirl and sway. And when you sing, you don't rush to the last note. You let each tone have its place, complete in itself. So why do we treat life any differently? We've made a terrible mistake in thinking that fulfillment is waiting somewhere ahead of us, just beyond the next accomplishment. We are forever climbing ladders that lean against walls which, when we reach the top, dissolve into thin air. The promotion, the degree, the recognition, they arrive, but they never satisfy the way we imagine, because the satisfaction was never in the achievement. It was always here, in the living, in the process. But we are frightened of this, frightened of slowing down, frightened of realizing there is nowhere to get to. Because if there is no destination, then what do we do with ourselves? Who are we, if not the strivers, the seekers, the pilgrims, trudging toward some shining goal? To let go of the idea of a journey feels like stepping into free fall, and yet that's precisely where freedom begins. So what happens when you see through this illusion, when you stop living as though life were a train rushing to its final station? At first, it feels unsettling, even absurd. The mind protests. Surely there must be a point, a purpose, a destination. But the marvelous thing is, when you stop straining to reach the end, you suddenly discover that you've arrived, not at the end of life, but at the heart of it. Every tree, every laugh, every fleeting breath becomes complete in itself. You realize that the purpose of dancing was never to finish the dance, but to dance. The purpose of music was never to conclude, but to play. And so the purpose of life is not to arrive, but to live with the freedom of knowing that nothing is missing, nothing is postponed, and nothing is elsewhere. It's like awakening from a dream in which you were forever chasing something, only to laugh at the discovery that you were already where you needed to be. You don't have to justify your existence by getting somewhere. You don't have to prove your worth by achievements or validate your being with milestones. The very act of being alive is the miracle. And when you truly see this, life becomes a kind of play. You still work, you still create, You still move, but not because you're clawing toward a destination. You do it for the sheer delight of it, as children play in the sand. You realize that the real wisdom is not in racing to the finish, but in dancing fully along the way. So stop waiting, stop striving, stop rushing to get there. There is no there is only here. And when you know this, you're no longer on a journey, you are home.